continues. Then we see Adam Schiff. Well, now they're just going to move over and start checking, empowering the IRS and asking banks and fishing in this hole and that hole, financial information on Trump. At what point is this
the election? If you look at Adam Schiff, he has been lying to the American public. He is chairman of the Intel Committee, the committee that gets to know all the things that are happening around the world. How can we trust him? Nancy Pelosi needs to remove him. But one of the questions that really needs to be asked, Sean, why did they carry this investigation so far gone? Why did they go past the election? Was that also political to leave it hanging out there when they knew early on there was no collusion? Yes, right. Exactly.
Let me ask you this. So Nadler is saying that they want the AG to testify. He's willing to testify. He'll be before Lindsey Graham's committee tomorrow in the Senate. But except, I guess they're not very smart, and they would prefer to hand off the questioning to unelected, unaccountable lawyers, because I guess they're incapable and intellectually deficient, and they can't come up with their own questions and probably are more afraid of Barr's responses than what do they say next? Hang on, let me check with my lawyer. Don't they have to ask the question?
Well, you know, most every hearing, it's members who are allotted 5 minutes to ask the questions. You can allot it to another member. This is why you run for Congress. This is why you ask the questions, to investigate, to understand, to make the votes, to have all the information. And if you listen to these Democrats, they just had to have Barr testify. Remember where Nadler was? He had to testify before the report came out. He needed to come in. And now they don't even want to ask Barr the questions. They want somebody else. I think our Attorney General has done a tremendous job in this. The way he has handled it, the professionalism, he's done this job before. He believes in the rule of law, and they cannot shake him. I think you'll see him sit there, testify, but what he's really responsible for, and he is correct about this, he wants to spend the time with the members, answer their questions. They're the ones going on TV saying they need to have more information, even though it's right before their eyes. There's no collusion, no obstruction. This country needs to move forward.
Let me ask, I happen to be very fond, I think, former Congressman, now Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is doing a great job. He said Maduro was ready to leave this morning. But you've got Hezbollah, of course, funded by Iran and Russia, and Cuba with 20,000 troops there, Russia in particular, talking Maduro out of leaving. I kind of trust Mike Pompeo's judgment a lot more than Vladimir Putin's lying judgment. And the question then remains, what support could we offer the people of Venezuela? 40 are dead. Look at this. They're running over the people. They're killing people right here in front of us with these trucks, literally running them over. What can we do to help them in their effort as they now try to bring freedom to the Venezuelan people? They have vast resources. They're one of the poorest countries, and they could be one of the richest ones.
You know, all of America should watch what's happening in Venezuela. I was just there 2 weeks ago along the border with other members. And there's about 50,000 people a day who pass over that border to Colombia to buy the essentials from milk to toilet paper. But you know what? I sat there and interviewed with them. They don't have electricity. The hospitals don't have electricity. They don't have running water. Babies are born and being put in cardboard boxes. I watched one picture where a doctor was performing a procedure and had no electricity, so they used their iPhone with the light on that to try to perform the operation. And this is what's scary, because 20 years ago, Venezuela was the jewel of Latin America. It was the socialist policies that promised you free health care, promised you free education. Well, this is what you've gotten. This is the Bernie Sanders, the AOC of the policies that are moving forward.
You mean that's kind of like what about 100 House and Senate members and a lot of the Medicare 2020 candidates. You know, I know Medicare for all sounds great, education from daycare, pre-K, kindergarten through college, everything's free, even government guaranteed healthy food and a job and a vacation, I hope, in Hawaii, if we're going to have it free, and whether you're willing or unwilling to work, and then we'll get rid of the lifeline of our economy, oil and gas, and the combustion engine and planes and cows. That part worries me.
You had Venezuela that could produce oil. And what did Hugo Chavez do? He took the company over from the government, and now it has failed. He took everything over from the government. The exact same thing that Bernie Sanders is asking for, Medicare for all. But not just Bernie. The majority of the Democrats have co-sponsored this. They want to remove 150 million Americans their health care. Anybody who's on Medicare Advantage, gone. They want to promise you free health care. They want to promise you what's happening in Venezuela today.
Right,
and that's why people are leaving.
Last exit question, we're out of time. Should the Attorney General agree to allow non-House members to ask the questions?
Look, I trust this Attorney General on his judgment, but I think the priority of who went to your voters and asked you to elect you to go and be their voice. You cannot be their voice if you give the power to somebody else.
What part of members are to ask the questions? Didn't they understand? All right. Thank you, Kevin McCarthy. Appreciate you being with us. When we come back, New York Times is rocked by this anti-Semitism scandal. It's pretty despicable and disgusting. Alan Dershowitz will explain.